lot of people are shocked to hear that I have children, considering I sued my parents for having me without my permission.
I get $12,000 a month total. $5,000 from my parents because I sued them for having me without my permission, and I'll get that for the rest of my life. And then I get $7,000 a month from my baby daddy, but that's only until my kids.
Apparently, this woman sued her parents for bringing her into this world.
You should not be having relations with your spouse until at least the 6th year of marriage. I successfully sued my sperm donor, and now I get 40% of his paycheck. All the money I have is from suing my parents. You probably heard about this, but a few years ago, I sued my parents for having me without my permission.
This woman, no, the court system is completely out of their mind for allowing such a thing. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
I don't mooch off my parents. I hold my parents accountable for their action. I didn't ask to be born. They were the ones that decided to lay down and conceive a child. And now they have me, so they need to be paying for me to live. I'm not ready for my childhood to end. I might be 31 years old, but in my heart, I know that I'm still someone that needs to be taken care of financially. And I'm not passionate about any line of work, and you only have one life to live. I'm not going to waste my life doing something I don't want to do. That's why I decided to sue my parents when they told me they were going to cut me off financially. Of course, I sued them back in 2018, so that was, what, 6 years ago now? And $5,000 a month back then was plenty to live off of. But now it's just not. So I'm probably going to have to take them back to court and get more money. All this to say, if you're not ready for a lifetime commitment, maybe don't have a child, because your child is probably going to outlive you and you need to support them financially for the entirety of their lifespan. So you need to leave them money as well after you're gone, because it's not their fault that they're here.
You're a grown-ass adult. Get off your ass and get a job. I would die before I would give you a penny. Get a job. It's not your mom and dad's to support you as an adult. You sued your parents. You need to be locked up. You got it all wrong. You just want an easy way out for not working, so when your kids get older, they can sue you too. This is really hard to believe. Once you become an adult, your parents are no longer responsible for you. None of us asked to be born, and life is difficult for everyone. We're all just part of the natural cycle of life, and dealing with challenges is something we all have to do. The idea of suing your parents for bringing you into the world is completely wrong. Parents have children with the hope of building a family and giving them love and support. They didn't ask to be blamed or held responsible for the struggles that come with life. Expecting parents to keep supporting their adult children forever is unfair and unrealistic. It's not right to hold them accountable for the difficulties that are just part of being human. Suing them for doing what they thought was best, bringing a child into the world and raising them, is a betrayal of the trust and love that families are built on. Life is hard, but blaming your parents for your problems ignores the fact that everyone faces challenges. We all have to find our own way through life, and it's not fair to turn against the people who gave us life in the first place.
I mentioned in my last video that I went clothes shopping for my children, and a lot of people are shocked to hear that I have children, considering I sued my parents for having me without my permission. But I just want to make a couple of things clear here. So my parents that I sued, they contributed to, conceiving me, and my mother that raised me, she gave birth to me. And that's why I sued them, because I did not consent to being here. I was unaware that I was going to have to grow up and get a job to support myself, and I just didn't consent to that. They didn't try to contact me in any way before I was born to see if I actually wanted to be here, and that's why I sued them. Now, it's different. I know I've said it's unethical to have children before, but it's different when you adopt, because it's not my fault that they're here. I'm just trying to be a good person and help them out. You know what I mean? So yeah, if you are pregnant right now, you need to hire a psychic medium and ask your child if they actually want to be here. But keep in mind, if they don't, you need to terminate. Otherwise, they will sue you, because I'm making that my life mission, to teach children to sue their parents so they don't have to work. But yes, that I do have children, but I adopted them. So I had them in like an ethical way.
I don't really see how you can ask an unborn child whether they want to be born or not. How can you ask an unborn child if they want to be born? It's impossible and absurd. Whatever she's smoking on must be really good if it's helping her win these cases, because this is just insane. I don't see how this is even allowed. It's completely out of touch with reality. Parents have children out of love and the desire to build a family. They can't ask a child who doesn't even exist yet. The whole idea is ridiculous. What's even crazier is the fact that she was able to sue her sperm donor for 40% of his paycheck.
I successfully sued my sperm donor, and now I get 40% of his paycheck. You have no idea how happy this makes me, because now I can be a stay-at-home mom, because 40% of his paycheck can support me fully financially. So what happened was, I'm a lesbian and I can't have babies the natural way, obviously. So I went the IVF route and I went to a sperm bank and I bought sperm. I get pregnant, I have my baby, I'm living with my girlfriend, she's working full-time, so she's supporting us financially, and then all of a sudden she decides she wants to break up, and she refuses to give me child support. She said, I don't want anything to do with this baby, I'm not on the birth certificate, I'm not legally obligated to take care of them, I'm out. And I said, well shit, what am I gonna do now? Then it occurred to me, I could sue the baby's biological father. I mean, the baby wouldn't be here without him, right? So my friend that works at the sperm bank got me my sperm donor's contact info, and I texted him and I acted like it was the wrong number. And we ended up making plans. We were texting back and forth for a while. We ended up making plans to meet up, and I hung out with him for a few months, befriended him, and then I got a DNA sample off of his cup one day, like swabbed it for his saliva. I sent it in and made sure that he actually was the biological father of my child, and he was. So I took him to court to get child support, and they granted me 40% of his paycheck.
Now, after this was done, she goes on to telling other women how they can do the same.
I get 40% of my sperm donor's paycheck, and today I'm going to break down how you can get it too. I'm a lesbian, so I knew I never wanted to be with a man, but I also knew that I needed a man to support me financially. The easiest way to get a man to be legally obligated to take care of you financially is to have a baby with him. Since I'm a lesbian, there was no way I was ever going to actually be with a man, so I went to a sperm bank, I got some sperm, and I got pregnant and had a baby. I did make sure to befriend someone that worked at the sperm bank beforehand, though, and that is a key piece to getting this 40% of his paycheck, because I befriended her, and then after I had the baby, I asked her to give me my sperm donor's contact info. Now, this isn't really legal, but there's no way for them to prove that this is what happened. After she gave me his phone number, I reverse looked it up and I found his name. Then I looked him up on social media and I found out his hobbies and the places he likes to hang out. And I just happened to run into him there. So we befriended each other. I invited him over for drinks one night and I got a swab of his DNA, and I sent it in just to make sure he was the biological father of my child. When it came back positive, I took him to court for child support, and he claimed that there's no way he is this baby's father because we had never had relations, but we did the DNA test and it came back positive. So now
I hope he gets all justice he deserves. You are sick. You should go to jail for that. I'm sorry. What? And a real court actually awarded this? This is shocking. First of all, being a sperm donor, the information should be confidential. So her friend actually broke the rules to get that man's info to her. This is an example of a parasite that won't stop at nothing to get what she wants, even if it brings down an innocent man. The thing is, the man actually responded.
I successfully sued my sperm donor, and now I get 40% of his paycheck.
I'm the sperm donor, and yes, I've been court-ordered to pay roughly 40% of my paycheck to this random woman and her child. The thing is, when I was 18, 19 years old, I was in the Marines, short on cash, and I thought it would be a good idea to donate some sperm for some easy money. I made a total of $150, and it came back to bite me because now I'm paying this woman thousands of dollars a month for a child I had no part in making or wanting. I did sign an agreement at the time stating that I would not be held liable for anything that happens to the sperm after I donated it, but I guess some laws changed and she found a legal loophole that states that I now am responsible for the child, so now I have to pay her monthly. It doesn't make any sense. I'm working on appealing it, so if anybody has any ideas or knows anybody who knows a good lawyer, send them my way, because this is just unfair.
Whoever the judge is should be imprisoned. I'm still trying to figure out how this is even legal. How can they force a man to pay child support when all he did was donate his sperm? This is nothing short of criminal activity, and it's clearly a direct attack on men. It's outrageous to hold someone financially responsible for a child they had no intention of raising. Sperm donation is supposed to be a way for people to help others start families, not a trap to burden someone with child support. This loophole is dangerous because the women who have become invisible to men can use this tactic to get impregnated by them, basically forcing them to fund their lifestyle just because they're carrying their baby. It's absolutely evil.
I have not asked my fetus if they want to be born. And listen, I know that I sued my parents for this, for having me without my permission. But at that time, this is the difference. At the time, abortion was legal, and there was easy access to it. Nowadays, like the state I am in, abortion is not legal. So even if my baby were to tell me, if I were to hire a psychic medium and my baby were to tell me, I don't want to be born, there's nothing I could do about it. So basically, when they grow up, if they say that they didn't want to be born, that they wouldn't have given me permission for that, I'll say, okay, sue the Supreme Court, because they're the ones that took that choice away from you. So that's why I'm not asking my kid if they want to be born, because it's just kind of a waste of money at this point to hire a psychic medium just for it to not change the outcome anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, my kid is just going to have to be born, unfortunately, because of the Supreme Court decision. So
it's your fault. There were millions of sperms, and you were the only who jumped into egg to be born as a human. Does your brain actually work like human beings does? Sorry to say, have you gone for psychology examination? Because the way I see you currently, you are having a mental disorder. Honestly, at this point, I really recommend Jesus. He is the only one that can help your mind. Please, Jesus can help you, lady. You need God. What is going on in this world? Some people can't get more weird than this. This whole situation could have been easily prevented with birth control or even just using a condom. It's as simple as that. All this talk about psychic mediums and supernatural guidance is just crazy talk. A way to dodge accountability and avoid taking responsibility for your actions. The truth is, the final decision lies with you, and so do the consequences of the choices you make. Blaming external factors or trying to shift the blame doesn't change the fact that you had control over what happened.
No woman should have to work. God made men to be providers. And the reason women are in the workforce today is because men failed at their one job. Their one job. And I told my ex-husband before he got married, I said, I'm never going to get a job because it's against my religion. I'm going to stay home. I'm going to raise the kids. I'm going to bake bread. And I'm going to keep the house clean. That is what God made me to do. He agreed to those terms at first, but as time went on and our rent doubled in the matter of 4 years, he said, you're going to have to get a part-time job so we can pay our bills. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. When we got married, I told you I was never going to get a job, and you said you were okay with that. That's how I knew that it was my time to get out of this marriage, because he wasn't going to uphold his vows. So how could I trust him to do anything else? When a woman doesn't want to work outside of the home, men are so quick to call that woman lazy. But women were never meant to work outside of the home. God made women to be homemakers, and you men failed your one job. And now women have to pick up your slack.
Wow, that's crazy. I thought marriage was some sort of partnership for better or worse. Guess not. Thank God I'm single. Thank you, Jesus. If my husband needs money to manage bills, I work. That's how we survive. I did that for my ex. She couldn't find anything to do other than cheat on me. Good luck, kings. Women did that to themselves with the Women's Rights Act. Now they're equals to us. Circumstances change, and especially with the way the economy is today, It's necessary for both partners to work. It's not about religion or any other excuse. Her refusal to work is simply about her laziness. How can you say you love your husband and then sit back and watch him struggle? Love means supporting each other, especially when times are tough. It's unfair to expect one partner to carry the entire financial burden while the other does nothing. And again, what do men get out of that today?
All right, this person is asking, how do you deserve things you don't work for? So this is the thing. I never asked to be here. And since I didn't ask to be born, I shouldn't be forced to do anything. Right? Like, I didn't have the choice. I didn't have the choice to not be born. And so I'm actually like trying to sue my parents for giving birth to me without asking me permission.
You need help.